Everybody's doing their thing. They're all good fighters. All good fighters. But you must understand, there's a process to becoming an attraction. You know, you got some guys running around here. I'm the A side. The A side to what? You ain't sold a fucking ticket with anything. You haven't sold a ticket for anything. The very first fight that I seen you headline, I actually was in town and I stopped in there in DC at the MGM Grand. With the capacity in there is about 3,500. The shit wasn't even half full. And that's in my city.
Teofimo Senior and Lopez said that they were going to help train him for this fight.
What they gonna do? Fuck they gonna do? They ain't gonna do nothing.
I did ask Teofimo what he thought of the fight, and he actually said that Tank would knock you out. Do you feel like their little...
You mean Broly?
Yeah, that Broly was gonna knock you out.
Teofimo need to worry about selling some tickets. He can't even sell tickets, and he about to fight in New York, and now only hold what 4,000. Tell him to sell some tickets, then holler at me. Bum ass nigga.
Tank Howard. Teofimo Senior and Lopez said that they were going to help train him for this fight.
What they gonna do? Fuck they gonna do? They ain't gonna do nothing.
I did ask Teofimo what he thought of the fight, and he actually said that Tank would knock you out. Do you feel like their little...
You mean Broly?
Yeah, that Broly was gonna knock you out.
Teofimo need to worry.
What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Oh man, damn. So we just heard there from your man's Snout, Leonard Snout'Erbe, and Gervonta, Tank Davis, airing out Teofimo Lopez. This one for me is, well, tell a lie. I was about to say it's a tough one, but really, it's pretty simple. The truth is, Teo, in terms of, as far as boxing goes, he running this game right now. Yeah? He's 23 years old, undisputed. Is he absolutely perfect? No, I don't think. I think he could be more perfect. But at the end of the day, he's 24, and he done something that Tank factually didn't do, and didn't even dare do, because when Lomachenko was knocking around, and Lomachenko was begging for that work from Tank, Floyd, Tank, Leonard, Snout'Erbe was saying, oh man, he old. We ain't gotta fight him. He old, and, we young, we got time. And then, Teofimo ends up taking the work you should have had. Gervonta Tank Davis, he should have been the one to beat Lomachenko, but you're too busy talking about numbers. And the worst thing is for me is, yeah, you can slag off Teofimo not doing numbers now at 24 years old, but who was doing numbers at 24 years old? Floyd weren't. Floyd didn't do numbers until he beat De La Hoya. Oops. And that's what makes you laugh. Floyd Mayweather and his team, his promotional team, always love to talk about numbers, but like I said, if they were that good at generating numbers, where was all their numbers at 24? They didn't have no numbers at 24. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't undisputed at 24 either. And neither is Tank. Now again, people can say, oh, but YB, Tank does numbers. What you guys don't understand is, Tank does numbers knocking out bums. That's a fact. Now, I believe Teofimo Lopez could have took the path of fighting easy fights and getting knockouts and building a resume based on like Deontay Wilder. The only reason Tank sells numbers, in my opinion, is because he's getting knockouts. Knockouts are entertaining. Look at Jake Paul. The reason Jake Paul's career is going as well as it is because of the knockouts. The reason Tommy Fury's career isn't going so well is because he can't knock no one out. Now, to apply it to this situation, Teofimo Lopez, yeah, he ain't knocking everyone out. That's because he's going in there with pound for pound number ones in Lomachenko. So, Leonard Snout'Erbe, he's correct in one sense that, yeah, Teofimo Lopez's numbers aren't doing the most right now. Equally, I guess it comes down to what you like. Do you want numbers? Do you want to chase the easy numbers? Knocking out people and selling out arenas in Baltimore? Because to be honest with you, in fact, let's kind of squash this whole numbers game. Tank ain't doing them kind of numbers. He's doing what, 200-300k buys and selling out Baltimore, his hometown. But that's not really numbers, is it? It's numbers relatively, but you're making out you've got the next pay-per-view star. All you've managed to generate is a knockout guy. And to be honest, it's a bit of a difficult situation to be in. Because all Tank keeps doing is revving his wheels, going over old ground, fighting old, small, irrelevant fighters on pay-per-view. And to be honest, who even knows about these pay-per-view numbers? Who knows about them? They tell us, oh, he sold 250,000 buys. How do we know that? Because as far as I'm concerned, Fury versus Wilder, the first fight, only sold 320,000 buys. So for me to believe that Tank is doing something similar versus Bums, I don't believe it. Because even when that first fight happened, it was still a big fight, big heavyweight fight, and you want me to believe Tank's doing the same numbers versus Bums? I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I think Floyd and Floyd's management are doing that because that's all they can do. They can't talk about the opponents they're beating, can they? So why not make out we're selling out things? Because to be fair, they probably are selling out Baltimore Stadium. But as far as pay-per-view numbers go, I couldn't tell you. Because in this day and age, everyone's making things up. You got Triller making numbers up. So it's all over the place. And it's quite sad, really, that Leonard Snout'Erbe talks about, the only thing Teo can talk about. He goes, the only people who know Teo are the hardcore fans. Yeah, the hardcore fans know Teo because, to his credit, he did the work you were scared to do. It's sad that that's almost become a diss now. It's now a diss for the hardcore fans to know you. Guess what? Only the casual fans know Tank. Because Tank don't be doing nothing. Tank's the biggest waste of talent going. That's the truth. And you're making a mockery of his career. Because even though, listen, Floyd Mayweather's career wasn't the best. Floyd loved fighting old people and washed up people too. But he still had names on his resume. Tank's fighting Instagram fights. This for me is an Instagram fight. I don't know who Rolly Romero is apart from an Instagram character. When is Tank going to step up? 5 years ago, I remember it was cool to say, oh man, Tank, he young. He up and coming. He 20 years old. He young in the game. He's now 26. 6 years later, and we're hearing the same things. He's been spinning wheels for 6 years. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth in my opinion. Floyd Mayweather is purposefully ruining his career. Because it don't make no sense to me. Don't make no sense. This isn't a learning fight. It's not even a big money fight. What is this fight? It's crazy. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury has more credibility in the boxing world than this fight does. Bottom line. And to be honest, that's been the way for a long time in Tank's career. Tank's never really having any proper fights. In fact, I'd argue Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury is more certified than any fight on Tank's career. When was the last time Tank had a 50-50 fight? He hasn't. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury is a 50-50 fight. Tank's been boxing since he was about 12 years old. What are they waiting for? And the fact it's one thing to be quietly doing your thing, but the fact that you're talking down on people who have actually achieved something in the sport, like Teo has. Now, I think Teo needs to fight Lomachenko in the rematch. I think he needs to solidify his claim to being the best. I think that, honestly, if Lomachenko was to fight Teofimo again, I'm going to put money on Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko will beat him based on the last 6-5 rounds. Nonetheless, yeah, at the moment, it's a bit of a blemish on his record, the fact that Teo's ducking Lomachenko, but end of the day, he's still, at least he's got that, at least he rolled that dice. And looking at how people like AJ have performed, there is now an argument that this whole rematch business, it's a bit played out, if that makes sense. Fighters need to start getting it right the first time. Which is an argument, which is obviously helping Teo's claim at the moment. Tank, what are you doing? Forget the numbers. Forget the fake, made-up numbers none of us can verify. Because let's be honest, who of us can verify these so-called numbers that he's doing? Now, to be fair, I have seen the Baltimore shows. They are probably sold out. So yeah, you can sell some tickets. In a stadium. Sorry, in a what's it called? That's not even where the real money is anyway. The real money is supposed to be in pay-per-views, but your man's never going to do no pay-per-views. Because to sell pay-per-views, you have to do a national show, a fight where everyone from every state wants to watch it. Tank versus Rolly Romero, that there's a Las Vegas special. Seriously, no one outside of Las Vegas knows that fight's happening. And for me, I remember throughout Floyd's career, we heard about the numbers. It's just old. No one cares about the numbers. Apart, obviously they do, because they're allegedly making them. I mean, you hear Ellie Setback. He's a joker, isn't he? Ellie Setback. He loves, Tank, tell us how good it feels to have Floyd tell you how great you are. Ellie Setback sums up the quality of reporting and reporters. If I'd have been there and heard Leonard Snout'Erbe say, "Oh, we're doing numbers," and "Teo, get your numbers up," someone should have said to him, "Tank, are you going to get your competition up?" Because fair enough, that's a fair criticism. It's a fair stake, or it's a fair claim to say, Teo needs to get his numbers up. But are you going to step your competition up? When are you going to become undisputed? When are you going to fight Lomachenko? Instead, they all giggle along, and it's all quite, it's creepy, it's weird, fruity. So yeah, another year goes by. When I started this channel, one of the key points was the fact that Tank stays talking, stays fighting, poor competition. And now another year's gone by, and your man's Tank still talking, still no action. And actually, the last thing I'll say is, what makes me even more frustrated about this back and forth is the fact that we're supposed to be in the sport of boxing, where if you've got a difference, rather than talking about numbers and tickets, Tank should be saying, "Teo, yes, you beat Loma. Yes, you beat my work that I was supposed to beat, because I'm older than you. But guess what? If you want me to, I'll be your daddy. Here's the contract. Let me show you how I could have beat Lomachenko but didn't want to, because I was too focused on numbers. Let me and you come together and make a big numbers fight." And that's how the sport's supposed to work. It's supposed to work, rather than talking about numbers and fighting bums, it's supposed to two names come together and make a big show. That's how big shows are made. I've never known of a fighter, even Floyd Mayweather, didn't really do numbers on his own. Floyd Mayweather versus who? Mayweather versus Berto sold about 500,000, which in the scheme of things, it's not, it's obviously big numbers, but it's not monumental numbers. When you think that Alvarez versus Golovkin did 1.2 million, Floyd without a big fighter was pretty average, which is like everyone else. But these guys would rather, we can fight a nobody and make 200,000 buys, or we can fight a real fight for 500,000. Nah, we'll just fight two bums instead. It's pathetic, truth be known. And the fact that Floyd's in charge makes it even worse, because you know what they're like. They got no intention. Tank will probably go his whole career. I can see the way Tank's career's played out, he's going to go his whole career and never have a good fight. And he'll retire undefeated, and he'll just be talking about how great he was and about how he never lost. Never mind how he ducked everyone. Lomachenko, Teo, Devin. And the worst thing is, the 135 division is the most packed division, but it's the most division with no one fighting. Full of whoppers.